Mental health and the Parasha is Seder of Chayei Sarah. Right at the end of this week's Torah portion, Yitzchak is described as going out in the field, lasuach basadeh. Lasuach means to talk, or understood by the rabbis as he went to pray in the field. He couldn't possibly have known that his father's servant was coming back with a wife for him, but he seemed anxious and agitated and went to unburden himself. The very next scene has him looking up and he sees the girl that he is destined to marry. They haven't met yet, but she's passed all the tests of character and appropriateness, and she seems, according to those who know her, to be a perfect match for Yitzchak. He brings her into his home, and the Torah describes how he's comforted, finally comforted, over the death of his mother. It seems to be a really romantic end to a dramatic story, but I think there's a real problem with this story. Yitzchak hadn't dealt with his grief. According to Rashi, at least, Sarah dies because she heard about the almost sacrifice of her cherished child born to her in her old age. Was Yitzchak perhaps guilty? Did he feel awkward? Did he blame himself? Yitzchak doesn't seem to function at all after the Akedah, after the almost sacrifice, and so we see him in this week's Seder at the end, going off to pray and then finally discovering his wife. If you've got grief, it's dangerous to bottle it up inside. If you're anxious, don't wait years to share the burden. Grief is part of what all of us should experience in the normal course of things. Our family members who are older than us should pass away before we do, and grief is part of the human experience. But if you don't let it out, if you wait 3 years to express it, it could be dangerous. Yitzchak doesn't seem to function normally as a human being at all. He's closeted away, barely does anything on the world stage. So don't be Yitzchak. Don't bottle up the pain inside. If you've got pain, if you need to talk, find someone to talk to. Turn to God in prayer. Turn to friends who can support you. Turn to the professionals. Don't allow your sense of being comforted to depend on external factors. Look for the help immediately. Shabbat Shalom.